Kim and Kelsey, guys. Yay.
Yay.
Oh, you know, it probably records up to Zoom.
Yeah, there does make a file in Zoom. So, yeah. So we are going to have Kim, who you have heard. She is the only one who is unmuted. So sorry, guys. But she's going to be kind of our techie today, and she's going to watch the chat for us, since we'll be switching back and forth with cameras and whatnot. So yeah, just if you have questions, Kim will be your liaison. She'll throw links and all the relevant information into the chat. And yeah,
So we're going to wait for just a minute and let other people join. But in the meantime, if you guys want to throw in the chat where you're calling in from, we would love that.
yeah. I already see my mom-in-law, so I know that there's people from Surrey.
And I see my sister-in-law, so someone from Delta.
Awesome. So we have the West Coast represented.
Yay.
Oh, I see a Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
Wow, lots of wow, it goes so fast.
Kamloops. Yeah.
Lots from the States.
Washington,
That's amazing.
yay. Vancouver.
One from Ontario too.
Nice.
Yay, North Delta. That's my sister-in-law.
Nice. I used to live very close to North Delta.
I used to live in North Delta.
I could have thrown a rock across
You
the
could
street
have.
to there. So I used to live there.
So we are in rural Culloden, BC, which for those of you who don't know is slightly outside of Penticton in the Okanagan. We're in my house, in my yarn dyeing studio. It's a super hot day out, so we're happy that we are in the basement level where it is nice and cool.
That's why we're here, not my place, because A, our place is still under construction, and B, we don't have air conditioning. She does.
I have air conditioning.
So
Very important.
Yep.
Super.
I was like, Michelle, we're doing this at your place, okay?
Yes.
So,
All right. Let's get going.
should we do it?
Let's do it.
All right, so this is our first virtual event. So thank you guys all for coming out and hanging out with us for the next hour or so.
And we hope we don't screw up anything badly.
Yes, and we'll both try to keep our potty mouths in check.
And so will Kim.
I'm on mute. We're good.
Okay, good. Awesome.
We also have Chris.
Chris, oh yes, my husband Chris, the other half of K-Zip Knits.
Hello.
In the back.
He's behind the scenes. He's going to be swapping yarn out because we have another camera set up so that we can show close up of some yarn when we talk about it. Chris is the man with
Yes,
the
he
yarn.
is. Yes.
All
He's given
right.
us a thumbs up. So I think that means he's ready to go.
He's
So,
ready to go. So we thought we'd start by just telling you a little bit about ourselves, where we're from, how we got into yarn dyeing, what our inspiration is. So for me, like I said, I live in Culloden. I was not born in BC. I'm an Air Force brat. So I was born in Germany. My dad was in the Air Force. We lived there for a few years. We moved to Quebec for a while. We moved to Edmonton for quite a while. And then I think it was the early 90s, I moved to BC to the Vancouver area. And I've been in the Okanagan for 8.5 years or so. And I love it. It's the place to be. Everybody should come here. I got into dyeing accidentally. I was searching on YouTube. I think I was looking up something knitting related, but I ran across a video of somebody dyeing yarn using food coloring. And I thought that looked like fun. I love to do crafts of all kinds. So I went, I could try that. So I tried that with food coloring. Then I bought acid dyes. Then I bought more dyes and more yarn. And now we're here.
it's amazing how that happens. It always goes from like a little,
Yeah,
I'm gonna just try it with like 2 or 3. And the next thing you know, you're like, oh, my house is
exactly. Totally full. I have my entire basement where we are is dedicated to the yarn. And I have a degree in horticulture. I used to work in golf course. I used to work at a park department outside. I don't anymore. But my yarn colorways draw a lot of inspiration from flowers and plants of all kinds. And as kind of an homage to the degree I'm not using, I name all my colorways after plants. So some of them, I've been told, are hard to pronounce.
I had to practice for this colorway that you'll hear more about in a while.
This one.
There was a lot of interesting explanations as to what this was actually called. So yeah.
But they're all plants. They're all real names. I didn't make
So she
anything up.
says. So she says.
Yeah. Anyway, that's me.
And I am Okanagan reject and now returnee, I guess you could say. So I grew up in Naramata, which is about a 40-minute drive, half-hour drive from here, where we're filming today. And so spent my whole childhood, my teenage years here, went to the coast, studied music, also have a degree I'm sort of using. I still teach and I do gigs and stuff, but I have a music degree. And then now I moved back and set up a dye studio. We're in the process of setting up a big new dye studio here in our house here. And Michelle and I have known each other for a number of years. So it seemed like a logical thing that we should do this together.
Because we didn't want to do it alone because
Exactly.
we're nervous.
We're chicken is basically how it comes down. But yeah, so.
We needed somebody else to talk to in case nobody showed up.
Exactly. And how did I start dyeing yarn? I had a hangout with a couple of other fiber friends at my place down at the coast. And I'd ordered like a little sample pack of like, try it out kind of thing. And next thing you know, also this happened. So yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, oh, let's try it out. This is about 5.5, 6 years ago. And next thing you know, I was like, oh, I really like this and I really enjoy it. So, and a lot of my color inspiration comes from having lived on the West Coast where it's really gray and dark a lot of the time. And I always, as someone who had to commute a lot, whether it was transit or on a vehicle, I would always find myself cursing at those people who, when it was pouring rain, would be wearing 100% black with their black umbrellas. So my motto was always, you need something bright or fun. So my motto was, I like bright and vibrant. And that's kind of what I've stuck with. I definitely have, more neutrals and stuff as well, but you will notice that I do like obnoxiously bright things. So
speaking of obnoxiously bright, let's talk about our collaboration.
And I didn't even plan that segue. How great. Ta-da!
So Kelsey and I each dyed Knit City Virtual Special Colorway. This is the one that I dyed. It's called Cineraria.
Not purple poop, which is what I called it the other day.
It's called Cineraria.
And mine is called Baby Dill.
Should we take this off?
Yeah, let's take it off. Sorry, Mildred. I named the mannequin yesterday.
She named it Mildred.
Wrong side.
Wrong side.
Now I've got your yarn.
Oh my goodness. So what shawl is this?
This is Promise of Spring, I believe. Kim, our admin person today, she was very gracious and knit the sample for us. So we have this gorgeous limited edition colorway. We have sock sets available on both of our websites, as well as full skeins if you just want a full skein of these guys.
And we have a contest. Let's put this back on Mildred.
It will not look nearly as nice as it did at the beginning.
No, we spent some time on that. So this
fail.
Right. So this took slightly more than a skein each of these colors. So our contest is some yarn has been taken off each of these skeins. And we want you to think about how much this pile of yarn weighs in grams. And at the end of our hour, we are going to get people to put in the chat what you think the weight is. And the person closest to will win a skein of each of these.
Yeah.
Not these, an actual full skein.
A full skein. Not a partial skein.
Not a partial skein.
But there's only one guess or your first guess, I should say, is the one that counts. So we will show you these a couple more times as we go on. So you can think about it now.
And you can look at it in my small hands.
Or you can look at it in my bigger hands.
You can think about it. But
you can look at it sideways.
That looks good. It's a good look on you. Yes. Okay, I want you to keep it there the whole entire time.
Oh, I used to be so good at this. When I used to work at a yarn store, I could do this all the time. My husband is laughing at me in the background.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
And you're losing it. Okay, so don't put your guess in the chat yet. Wait till the end. We're going to show it to you a few more times throughout our hour. But for now, we're going to go show you some of our bases. We've decided to show you 5 bases each, 3 fingering, 2 DK. And we're going to switch to our other camera because we're all technical like that.
Yes.
And
I do love that I can see that Wendy that said that Kelsey is known for putting things on her head. So thanks, Wendy.
Excellent. All right. So this is my fingering base. This is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's my go-to for most things. It's super squishy. It's 8 ply. It has great stitch definition. Kelsey and I have the same base, so the colors that she's going to show are the same thing. So, and it's the same that this shawl was knit out of, and the same skeins that are up for grabs with our contest. I have, from left to right, I have cedar, random color number 16, because anything that I dye that I decide is not repeatable or was a mistake and is not repeatable, it's just called random color something. This one's number 16. And then I have globe thistle, and then the one on the end is aster.
I love your aster ones.
I love aster too. And I'm going to switch back because, whoopsie.
There you are.
I've got some samples. So this is Kim's sweater. It's the Sea Swell by Holly Yo. And this is knit in black mondo grass. And I borrowed it from Kim. She wears it a lot, but it's 35 degrees here, so she's not wearing it, so it's fine. I also have a sock sample. This is the Double Helix by the Curious Knitter, and this is Goldenrod, and this is Globe Thistle. I knit this sock. It was super fun. You start from the heel, and then you work out. I only knit one because it was super fun the first time. I decided it wasn't fun enough to do twice. And I have one more sample just to show that this yarn really is super versatile. This is a giant shawl.
Hold the other side.
Okay, thank you, because now I can't see. This is the Radiate shawl by Stephen West. This is Lamium. This is Stoneflower, and this is Black Mondograss. I thought it was a little too monochromatic. Let's see Kelsey again. So I added a little I-cord edging in an unknown color of mohair that I just happened to have.
It's a glittery mohair.
It is a glittery mohair.
Oh,
I thought it
jealous.
added something to the all gray monochrome.
That's great. I love it. I didn't know you. Oh, well, I guess, yeah. I haven't seen glittery mohair in a long time.
I don't think it's, I found it. I looked up to see if I could get more to make something else.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, it's not.
Sometimes they get rid of the cool things. It's
Right.
annoying.
Right. So we are going to switch back to the other video for Kelsey.
For me, all right. So and I have to remember left to right is not the way it looks on my screen. It's the way it looks on your screen.
It's the way it looks on the table.
Oh, look, sweet. I can look over there. So from left to right, as Michelle said, we both use the same sock base as kind of our go-to for a fingering. I have my Cocoa on the left, followed by Polar Vortex, which is that really nice, obnoxious, bright one there. Scuba, and then Thrasher Cove is on the end. One of my favorite things about this base is that it works so well on both a looser gauge and a tight gauge. It's very flexible that way. It's a little bit more kind of fluffy is maybe not the word, but it's just got a little bit more body to it than most commercial sock yarns. So that's one thing I really love about this one. And I also like that we can source it from within Canada, which is nice. We don't have to order out in the States or anything like that, which is awesome. And I'll show you, we'll get Michelle, hopefully you guys have had enough of the color by now. We'll swap over. I have a couple samples. So just to show how well it knits on a really loose gauge, this is my Magpie tendency crop top that I wear a lot. The shoulder part is done in Grimace and the body is in my English Breakfast colorway. But this one is knit on quite a loose gauge. If I can't remember off the top of my head, but I want to say it was like a 6mm needle. And I just wear like a simple tank underneath, even though you don't really see through it. So yeah, it's really great that way and how versatile it is. And like Michelle was saying, the stitch definition is fantastic. And I will actually have to look up the title of this sock because a friend did it for me. I think it's from the 52 Weeks of Socks books, but I'll have to look it up again. So you can kind of see like with some of the patterning and whatnot, how cool your stitch definition is. This is our By the Pool colorway. So yeah, works great for socks and for tops.
And for tops.
And shawls.
And shawls. Really,
So,
it's super versatile.
exactly. And I love that we both have it at the same base because then it makes things like collabs a no-brainer.
Exactly.
So that's my first fingering out the door. How about we gotta see some more now?
We've got to see some more. We are going to move on to one of my favorites, which is sparkle.
Yay!
This is my fingering sparkle. It is 84% merino, 16% stellina. I love sparkle. I have socks knit in sparkle. Yeah, it's my go-to. It's sparkly, but it's not too sparkly, if you know what I mean. It's not like garish, it doesn't jump out at you, but it just adds a little something. I really love it in the darker colors like lobelia that's there. So I've got dianthus, and then lobelia, then mulberry, then random color 15. I happen to have a lot of random colors at the moment.
I kind of love that you just name them random color. Like most people say like, oh, it's a one of a kind, it's an oops or something. And you're like, no, it's
No.
random color, whatever.
It's random
I can see
color.
Kim shaking her head going, she needs to come up with a
She
name for
needs-
them.
I've tried, but it just didn't work for me. This, I don't know if you can even see the sparkle from a distance.
Here, maybe if we
Hold it up. This is my Lily of the Valley stole. This is actually my design, and I knit it in lavender sparkle. But yeah,
thanks for the shawl, Michelle.
yeah, sure. I think Kim was putting a link to it in the chat if you're interested in looking at it. But yeah, that's my sparkle option. Yes, I only have one sparkle.
What? You only have one sparkle sample? How can you not have more sparkle samples?
Well, you know what? I could have brought socks because I have several sparkle socks, but they've been well worn, so I didn't think I should show them. I don't have any brand new sparkle socks.
Oh.
So that's all I've got. So let's switch to.
We're gonna venture into uncharted territory now. So we have this I call the Canterbury Fingering, and it's 100% non-superwash Corriedale. So if you are looking to venture out of your comfort zone and try something that is not a superwash yarn, but is still a very durable yarn, this one is the way to go. I've always been a sucker for non-superwash yarns. And the nice thing about Corriedale is it's the staple of the yarn is very, very crimped. So it makes it a much more durable yarn than say like a pure merino or something. So it still works really well for outerwear or for things like socks. My colors here from left to right are Eye of Newt, Silver Lining, Vintage Rose, and Blue Skies. When we go back to the camera, I think you can see up above me too, there's a couple other colors as well. So this one's a pretty new base for us, but it's one that I'm quickly falling in love with. So I'll switch our camera angle as I throw it on the floor.
Can I just interrupt quickly? That was your Canterbury. Sorry, I was reading something else. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep. So it has really, really, really cool, good stitch definition. This is kind of a cool shawl that I'm knitting here. It's called Barn Dance by, I have to double check who it's by again. It's a Nordic designer.
Patricia and Fortune.
Patricia and Fortune. Thank goodness for notes, people.
Notes.
Can't recommend them enough. But yeah, so it's a neat, like a twisted, it's not a true rib, but it's this cool twisted stitch pattern and it's super fun. But I love it. And I think it sets off the colors really, really well. So
That's nice.
it's, yeah, I can't say enough about it. I love non-superwash yarns. And I know that some people are intimidated because they think they could be really scratchy. If you are intimidated, this one's a really good one to start with. It's quite soft. I think even Michelle had it around her neck briefly the other day and she didn't
It's true.
complain. And
I didn't die.
she's what we call a merino baby. So, you know, this is a good one if you're like anxious about stepping out of the soft zone, but want to take that step. So this is a good one.
I used to be a merino baby, but
Oh, that's right. We've converted you to something that's not merino, but it's
not
still very
merino.
soft.
So I've been teasing people about a new base that I'm unveiling right now. Let me
Da, da, da,
switch over.
da. Sorry, I felt like it needed a drum roll.
It needed a drum roll. This is 70% alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. It is to die for. It is non-superwash, but it is so soft, you will not believe it. It's new. I've so far just knit a hat with it, which I'll show you in a second, but it was so nice to work with. I think I want to make all the things with it. It doesn't have the memory that merino does, alpaca. So if you need something that holds its shape, probably not the best yarn for you. Like something super fitted or something like that.
Or a lot of cables or
Or
something.
a lot of cables, but if you have something that's kind of drapey, it will be
Or even like a loose
amazing.
lace would look really lovely in it.
Yes,
I
it
bet.
would.
Yeah.
Super nice. So this is Scylla, penstemon, caladium, and blue stem.
Thank goodness I didn't have to read those.
I've actually I dyed it up in 10 colors. Let me switch back. 10 colors, and they are up on the website right now.
And you can see a couple more
You
of
can
them.
see a couple more.
It's hard to point
right
and look at
there.
that column. Third one in.
Third one in. I knit this little beret. It's called the Beaded Beret by Church Mouse, and I knit it out of lobelia. And it is like, I could just wear it against my face the entire time. That's how awesome it is. You know what I just realized?
What?
We forgot to tell people about our discount code.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe it.
Well, in case you want to go shopping, you can use KCV15 as a discount code on both of our checkouts from now until midnight on Tuesday.
15% off.
So you want some of that
Website. You want some of this, you can get 15% off.
And it's gorgeous. And you
It's
only,
beautiful.
how much of a skein did you use for that? Not very much,
Less
right?
than half.
Less than
like
half.
this little hat. Can I put it on without messing up my hair?
Do it. Just go for it.
It's a beret. How do you wear berets? I don't know. Maybe like
France.
that. You
I
wear
don't
them in France. This particular beret I have knit before for my sister-in-law. I knitted out of our fingering base, and it's smaller because fingering or merino has memory in it, and it tightens up. The alpaca loosens up, which for me is great because I have a lot of hair and it fits over my head.
It's so good. I love
Right?
it. Yeah.
Right.
And the beading details on it.
And the
really fun.
beading. Can you see the beading?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll stop getting so close to the camera.
Yeah, didn't we say we weren't going to get close to the camera? And we're both like, hi.
Should we show the
Yeah,
yarn
since we
again?
were talking about the contest ones.
Should we show the sock sets?
Oh, sorry.
Or should we show the
Oh, these guys.
yes.
Our grease man? I don't know.
grease man?
The grease man was like, so I don't know.
Our
I think I
helper.
just killed Chris.
I think you did. He reminded us that we'd said we would show this more often than we have. So guesses. One on top of the other on top of the other. Super guess.
Don't guess yet, though.
Not
Just
yet.
keep thinking.
Right.
Um,
Okay, we're gonna switch over to Kelsey's yarn.
And then we'll see if Chris can recover. So this is my last fingering base that I have to show you today. And if you like soft and drapey, this one is a good one for you. This is our Beach Avenue fingering weight, and it's a 55% blue-faced Leicester, which is a type of wool if you're not familiar with the breed, and 45% silk. So it has a lovely, lovely sheen to it. This base is one of those things that no matter what you do to it, it looks amazing. Like you could dye it barf green and it would still look really, really good just because that sheen.
Please don't.
Please don't? Okay.
Yeah.
Darn it, that was on my dye list for tomorrow.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, next. The other thing that I really like about it is it has excellent stitch definition. And I think that's probably, I mean, silk has a lot of structure to it, but BFL does as well. But yet at the same time also drapes really beautifully. So you can have a little bit more fun with some of those more textured knits while also still having a lot of drape to it. I probably wouldn't use it for cables necessarily, but like smaller textures or lace patterns are a really good option. And the colors from left to right are pink hibiscus, moonless night, amazonite, and yellow lemonade. And I have one sample because it's a big one. It's a sweater. I knit a whole sweater in this.
Whole sweater.
A whole sweater. And
That's
I
nice.
apologize that it's a little bit wrinkly. I went to block it out, but you know, we just moved and
No blocking stuff.
no blocking stuff. But this, I'll get it up close so you can kind of see the texture. Apparently I'm really into textured knits right now, but this was a test knit I did for Camille Descateau, and it's called Villain or Velen, Belen. What did you? Villain. I'm sure someone can correct me in the chat, but it's a lovely one. It is out now and it is very size inclusive. But yeah, it's lovely. Nice. It has, you can see, it has lots of drape to it, but again, still holds all those lovely different textures in it beautifully. And I kind of want to knit another one because she adjusted the pattern, went a little bit in the test, for the bigger sizes of the V went a little bit low, but she's adjusted it so it's a little less scandalous in its reiterations. But that's why we test knit things, right, people? Exactly. So you can iron those things out. So, but it's lovely. I love this. And I'm sad that it was a knit that was completed in like late May when it started to get a little bit too warm to wear it.
That's the problem.
Because I was like, I have to wait till the fall again, or just roast. I don't know. So, but yeah.
Let's show these.
This sounds like a good thing to do.
So we have we have a limited number. I was going to say limited time, but really it's based on number.
Yeah.
We have sock sets on our website. So using the leftovers from the shawl, if you go to my site, you will get a full skein of Cineraria and a mini 20-gram mini of baby dill.
And if you go to mine, you'll get a full skein of baby dill and a mini skein of Cineraria.
So I think we only have 5 each.
Yes, that's correct.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
And just so you can guess again.
Oh,
I think we should see if Michelle can master. Oh, see, it's not that hard.
it's not that hard. And I have an advantage, the hair.
Yes.
It
And I see
helps.
someone asking, what are we guessing? So for those of you who weren't here right at the beginning, if you can guess the total grammage of these 2 skeins of
together.
yarn, so the 2 together, we have a prize for you, but don't guess now. You have to wait till later. We will prompt you in a little while to put your guess in, and you put your best guess in because your first one is the only one that counts.
That's right.
And with that, we'll give you a reminder that our coupon code for this weekend is KCB15. You can use that at both of our checkouts on our website.
To get 15% off until midnight on Tuesday.
And Chris is whispering
Chris
things
is
to me,
whispering.
and I don't understand what it is. Chris.
What was the coupon code?
KCB15.
Awesome.
And Kim's thrown it in the chat in case you forget, and she's applauding Chris. So Chris, well done. We have to give support for the people in the background, right?
That's right.
Because they are just as valuable, in which case I would say today he's probably more valuable than either of us, because he's the
Exactly.
one responsible for the yarn that you're seeing.
He's doing the yarn switching.
Yeah.
Speaking of switching, let us move to DK weight. We each have 2 DK bases to show you.
I have one I'm really excited about, but I have to wait because Michelle goes first.
This is my regular DK. It is 100% superwash merino. It's the go-to DK for most people. It's soft, it's got great stitch definition, makes great sweaters and shawls. I mean, you can't go wrong with a good DK. This one really is it.
And I can attest it's excellent because I have woven things out of this DK before of Michelle's. from one of her random colors,
Right.
and it's gorgeous.
It's really nice. I have a sweater that, well, it's actually kind of a vest. It doesn't have sleeves yet, but it's summer, so I can't wear it anyway. But I'm looking forward to wearing it in the fall, and it is made out of pine. So these colors from left are goldenrod, pine, cyclamen, and stoneflower. And pine is the one that I knit the sweater out of. And I have a sample knit that Kim knit. Let me turn it right side up. This is the Fintry Shawl by Knox Mountain Knit Co. And this is in Globe Thistle. Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
So pretty.
The lace
And
just pops on.
Yeah,
this.
you can see all the great lace. You can see the rib. It's just it just shows everything so
I love
well.
your variegation. It reminds me a lot of like the Malabrigo kind of style of dyeing, and that's a big compliment because
Thank
I
you
love Malabrigo.
Thank you so much.
But that's like instantly where my brain goes.
Where
Is
your
like,
brain went?
ooh.
Nice.
So
Yeah, super squishy. Just nice.
Yeah.
DK is such a good weight.
it is. It's that like perfect medium between wanting a sweater that will be done in a reasonable amount of time, but
Yeah,
also not having something like so heavy that it's like you can get more wear out of it.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
which is why I tend to like DK and stuff as well.
Right. Okay.
But away from sweaters, although this would work excellently as a sweater yarn, is a new one for us here at K-Zip Knits. The people asked, so the people are receiving. We're doing a DK sock. So this one is 85 merino and superwash and 15% nylon. So it's got good wearability, but it's still very, very soft. A little bit softer than a traditional kind of fingering weight sock base, or the one that we use at least. So I think it's a really good option for people who are also looking for maybe clothes that are a little bit more wearable, that they're worried about are going to pill, because that bit of nylon is going to give it a little bit more stability. And the stitch definition is still just as crisp, I would say, as our regular fingering as well. So it's also a nice option too for kids' clothes, because it's a little bit more friendly. You can just toss it in the washing machine and not worry about what's going to happen to it. I still would recommend cold water wash for the wearability and stuff, but it is definitely like an easy care one as opposed to a pure merino option. So, and I do have a sample that I've done up. Oh, I guess I should tell you the colors first. I'll tell you the colors. So from left to right, we have Summer Fiesta, followed by Watermelon, followed by Purple Rain and Jamming. And then I have a sock that I did out of Summer Fiesta on my severed foot here. It was funny because I went into a yarn store one day and they were selling off some of their mannequins and because they had too many of these kind of things. And I went in, and instead of coming out with yarn, I came out with body parts because they came out with a mannequin and a foot. People outside in line waiting to get in laughed at me. But so this is our Summer Fiesta. So you can see it kind of like does a really nice, just speckling, soft speckle effect.
It's really pretty.
And
It's
this-
not showing up on camera as nice as it is in real life.
Yeah, it's if you go to my Instagram page as well, you can kind of get a better sense of the colors. But I knit this sock on a 3mm, so it's quite dense still. So it'll have lots of wearability, which is nice. But yeah, so I really like this one. I can totally see myself making some sweaters out of it because it's so soft. And it's also, if you're looking for something that's like a little bit more affordable, this is a good option too. If you're, because like some of the fancier ones that we have, this one's a little bit of a lower price point. So that might be a little bit more accessible for some people as well. So I don't think I have anything else to say about this one. It's cool.
It's nice.
I really like it. And it's 100 gram skein, and I used 46 grams for this one sock, and I have a size 10 and a half foot. So you can easily get a pair of socks out of one skein. So if you look at the yardage and you're like, but that's not enough, it totally is enough. Unless you have like size 14 feet, then you might need a second skein. But
I think if you have size 14 feet,
you have
need
other
a
issues.
second skein with fingering as well.
Yes,
So you wouldn't be anything new for you.
there, exactly.
Okay. Speaking of soft.
Sorry. I get excited for this one because it's so smushy. I've been fondling this one a lot every time I walk by Michelle's racks behind us.
This is my DK17. This is 100% superwash merino, but it is 17 micron. So if you don't realize, this micron count is the thickness of the fiber before it's spun, and the thinner it is, the smaller the number, the softer it is. So typical merino, I think, is around 19 to 22-ish.
Mhm.
This is 17. Super scratchy yarns would be like 35 to 40 microns. But this is amazing. It spoils people. Anybody who's used it now says they just want to use this, like Kim.
We see you putting your hands up there in the corner,
That's
Kim.
right. Yeah, it's really amazing stuff. And so the colors from left to right are Festuca, Poppy, Dahlia, and Chestnut. And I've got some awesome samples to show you.
Boy, does she ever.
So the first one is the Less Traveled Wrap by Megan Noedecker, aka Pip and Pin. This is a random color. I was experimenting with Aster, which is that color. And it turned out, Aster turned out slightly different, but Kim knit this. She got all the skeins and knit this wrap and said that I've now spoiled her for any other yarn, and she hates me. She doesn't hate me.
She loves us.
And I have, yeah, so that color is, the color is closest to Aster. This is a test knit for friend of ours, Christy from Queen Knit Co. This is knit in Festuca. This pattern has not yet been released, but it should be coming out soon. But you can see like there's cables and rib and all kinds of texture to it, and it shows it really, really nicely. But at the same time, you could just squish it because it's so incredibly soft. It's lovely.
It's really lovely. I'm
It
thinking
really
this
is.
is coming home with me. Thanks, Kim. This is mine now.
Kim says no, but she's not here, so.
She's like, take it off. I can
She's-
see her in the camera.
Just take it off. All right, let's
And then
switch.
I have one more DK base, and this one is one that I'm very excited about. So you might notice it looks a little bit different than anything else you've seen so far today. And it's another non-superwash yarn. This is my Myra Canyon DK. I really like British breeds of yarn. So this one is a 75% Blueface Leicester and 25% Massam. If you guys are familiar at all with Bahram U's yarns, particularly their Winterburn or their old now discontinued Stepstone, which is what it used to be before. It's closest to their Winterburn, which is, I think the old iteration of it had a little bit of Wensleydale in it, which is the only difference really. Has the same kind of loft and whatnot to it. So it starts off as a brown sheep. Or brown, doesn't start off as a brown sheep, it is brown. It's not that it changes color or anything. It's not like it becomes blue, but it has really beautiful undertones. So when you dye it, you can still see the little bits of brown and grays that kind of pop through the color. So it gives it really gorgeous depth. So that's probably, it has also really amazing stitch definition, great for cables, really good structure. It's another one that I feel is fairly accessible in the non-superwash and more rustic yarns. It's going to be a little bit more rustic probably than the Corriedale that I showed earlier, but it's still a really, really good option. And my colors from left to right are Midnight Ocean, Very Good, Harvest Gold, and Doe-Eyed. And I do have a sample that I have knit up. And
Go ahead, put it on.
she knows it doesn't fit me because this is a pattern. This is my little prototype for a pattern that I will be doing a testing call later for, which if you want to get in on that, feel free to pop over to our group on Ravelry, but it's a little cabled hat. So this is the midnight ocean colorway. So you can kind of see, it also has a little, it doesn't come across as well on camera, but it does have a little bit of sheen to it. And that's the Massam in here. If you've ever worked with Gotland before, very kind of similar feel and a similar little bit of sheen to it. It has a little bit, you can see it has a little bit of a halo to it as well. Not quite as extensive as say a mohair, but same kind of feel. So if you want something that just has a little bit more kind of texture to it in the actual fiber itself, this is a really good option. And I just love it. It's like, if Greta or Micah are on here, I think I saw Micah pop on earlier. They both know that I am like, when Winterburn was the thing with Bob Ramu, I have so many sweater quantities of that. So to be able to dye something that's like essentially the same has just made my little heart go boom. So yeah.
Awesome. That's all the bases that we have.
Today, we both have more bases
Yeah,
in general, but those are the ones we
Yes.
brought to show you today.
we didn't think we'd have time to show all of them. Maybe we should
Should we get people to,
get people to guess.
yeah. Does Kim even know? Does our moderator even know what the final grammage is? No, she does not.
She
Okay.
does not. We know because I have it right here because I wrote
Nice.
it down. So everybody,
Now's your chance.
now's your chance.
Put it
In
in
the
the chat.
chat, how many grams does all of this total? So the first person to get to the closest number, we don't know if anybody will actually get the number, gets a skein of each of those colors
Yes.
sent to you. Oh, it's exciting.
I love seeing like all the numbers like flying in.
know.
It's kind of exciting.
It is exciting. And while people are guessing, remember our discount code, which is KCV 15 altogether for 15% off until Tuesday night on both of our websites. My website is isisfiberarts.com. Kelsey's is ksifknits.com.
Our names.com.
.com. It's not hard.
And we also want to do a special shout out to Kim, because I don't know if we mentioned, but Kim was the one who knit this beautiful shawl for us. I'm like trying to like backwards on camera, does not work for me.
No. 3 times.
Yes.
She knitted 3 times.
So she deserves all the credit that there is. So I think I've seen a lot of numbers come in. Should we consult the chat and see?
Yes, let's consult the chat. Is everybody finished?
Oh, no, there's more
no.
flying in, more
More
flying
numbers
in.
coming in. Okay.
Okay, but while the numbers are coming in, a couple
Yes.
questions have come. Just wait.
Yeah.
So Kelsey, one for you from, is it Kirian? I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Thank you for putting how to say it in brackets though. She wants to know about you, Mystery Mondays.
Oh, Mystery Mondays. So on and Michelle does something similar actually. On the first Monday of every month, there is an inspiration picture that will be posted along with, you have the information about the base that I'm dyeing on, because that sometimes changes from month to month, along with the colorway name. So you can order based on just the picture, the colorway name, and the base. And you get a teeny bit of a discount off of what I would normally charge for that base, because I take into consideration that you're taking a chance on something that you've never seen before. And then if there are any left over at the end of the month, at the start of the following month, I will post a picture of it and it goes back up to its regular price. And then the next one comes out. So the first Monday of every month that goes out. And if you are a member of, or if you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll get a sneak peek a few days before it comes out as to the inspiration photo. So hopefully that answers your question. Michelle does something kind of similar. You have a yarn of the month club.
I have a yarn of the month, which is very similar. So on the first of the month, I post an inspiration picture. So far, I've been giving you an option of selecting DK or fingering weight base, your choice. And same thing, you don't really know what the yarn looks like until you get it. And then I take the listing down around the 15th of the month, and then I do all the dyeing and send it all out. And same as Kelsey, I've got a newsletter. So if you subscribe, you will get first crack at seeing the inspiration pick. Plus, if I have any leftovers, after I've dyed them, I tell my newsletter people so they get first crack at buying more or buying one if they didn't buy one, whatever. Yeah, newsletter, it's the way to go. Sign up. Yes.
Okay, and Kelsey, one other question for you is, what is your Thrasher base?
That's on the Garibaldi base, the Garibaldi sock base.
And sorry, that was from iPad too, so I don't actually have a name for that one.
Unless that's their name.
You never know.
We don't know. And Chris just reminded us that we need to say how to sign up for our newsletters.
Yes.
Which is go to our websites, and at the bottom of every page, there is a little box where you can put your email address in and sign up.
Yeah.
And we do not spam you. We do not sell your information to anybody. We don't send out newsletters all that often, so you're not going to get a ton of stuff from either of us because neither one of us like that.
Yes, exactly. And I did notice someone asked about how much shipping is to the US. This is a good chance too for us to let you know. We both offer $5 flat rate shipping for if you want vacuum sealed stuff for single and 2 skein orders in North America, so US and Canada. And then everything else is based on weight usually. So, up to a certain gram amount is about $15-ish, and then it goes up from there. So, but that's kind of like, that's kind of the starting point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Do we want to see?
Do we want to see?
How do you want to do it?
Well,
Do we text Kim the amount and then,
Let's
okay, I
text
will text Kim the amount. Let me turn my airplane mode off.
Thank you, Kelsey.
we did get a couple questions in advance.
Oh, yes, we
you
did.
Text Kim.
We'll let her answer the first one while I am.
So the first one was, what is your favorite yarn base to dye and why? I go straight for fingering every time because I prefer knitting with thinner yarn over thicker yarn. And it just takes the dye so nice and it's so versatile. Like the fingering isn't just for socks. I mean, shawls, sweaters, scarves, hats, anything at all, fingering can do it. So that's the first one I go to.
I think I'm probably the same in terms of which one I enjoy dyeing the most. I think for me, I love things that have like a little bit of a sheen or a textural interest to them, just because it's always like an adventure to see how they come out, like say the silk base up here, because it's always like the sheen, you have an idea of how the color is going to look, but once you get it on that little bit of a shiny base, it just pops in a different way that is kind of hard to get off of just sort of like a normal base. Or I really like things like the last base that I have, where you have it's already got a bit of a color to it when you start, plus a bit of a textural interest. So I have a hard time picking like a single favorite base to dye, but things that have textural or visual interest before you dye it always really fascinates me, and I enjoy the process of like dyeing that. And then aside from that, I just like throwing a lot of color on things. I don't know if you noticed that summer Fiesta, but that was like 6 colors. So yeah, Chris is waving it around in the background, this guy. So this is like, I can't make up my mind what color this piece of yarn needs to be, so it gets to be all of the colors.
Yeah.
And I have a few colorways like that. So where you can just tell I'm like, what do I feel like doing? I want all the colors today. That's a good idea. All the colors. So yeah.
And the other question that came in was, do you use natural dyes or have you tried them before? And both of us have actually tried them. Years and years ago, I took a class at Van Dusen Gardens in Vancouver, and it was all about natural dyeing. And there were sample bits of yarn that they had the mordant applied already, and we dyed them with onion skins and various leaves and plants and all kinds of things. And it was super interesting. At the time, I was not a knitter, so I took that away and dyed some fabric and just played around with it because I like crafts. But I have not dyed yarn for my business out of natural dyes.
I also have not dyed anything for our business at all out of natural dyes, but I've done a bit of experimenting when I first started dyeing yarn, before it became like a thing that I did. for just personal interest. So I've done the onion skins, like you said, or like I remember going and picking tons and tons of dandelion blossoms and making stuff with that and trying stuff with like turmeric and all sorts of things like that. And it's a lot of fun. I think the process of setting it is a lot different than working with an acid dye. And it's not as color fast as traditional acid dyes. And that can, for some people, be a really significant issue. And so until there's, I guess, maybe until I've had more experience working with them or messing around with them more, or there's better ways to set them for color fastness, I tend to not want to venture on that too much. I definitely purchase that kind of thing for myself, but it's not something that I am at a point where I'm comfortable being able to release to people. I always feel bad being like, so this will fade, like there's like something about like, okay, I've spent $30 on a skein of yarn and in 3 years it'll be a different color, and not that it's that dramatic, but that can be a barrier for some people, I think.
And they're not as vibrant.
They're just not as vibrant as well. And like I said,
you're not getting these colors.
No, yeah. Like I love obnoxious, okay? Like
Okay, speaking of those two colors,
yeah.
Could you put the shawl closer to the camera? Because you really can't see the colors.
Oh, well, let's put
in the
why don't we put it
stripes.
under our alternate thing. And while Chris is making it look all pretty, we have an announcement. We have a winner, and they got very close. They got within 2 grams of the actual amount. So Andrea Nielsen, you are our winner. Yay! So our actual grammage amount was 175 and she guessed 173. So if you can, I see her say, oh my God, that's awesome. Yay, we like it when people are excited about it. If you want to throw your email in the chat, or you can private message it to Kim maybe, then we'll connect with her and we'll send you an email and we'll arrange mailing and all of that behind. Oh, and there you go. Everybody, you can now send her a congratulations email if you want, but be polite.
Always polite.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
And then Chris has arranged the camera in a potentially good way. He goes like this. Yay. Oh, that's good.
That's very good. Look
so you
at
can see the colors. So again, it's Baby Dill is mine and
Cineraria is mine. And this is a really good shot because you can see the stripes in the middle section.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And I'm just going to pull that out because there's lace there that Kim spent a lot of time on.
Chris has to learn more about lace yet.
Chris doesn't do lace. He's going to learn though when he learns to knit.
Yes. He wants to learn my circular sock machine. I know that much.
Oh, there you go.
So,
all right. Do we have any more questions, Kim? Hold on.
She's looking.
She's looking.
Oh, and in case anyone, I'm assuming probably most of you heard about us from Instagram potentially or Knit City, but we do both have Instagram handles that you can follow. So mine's at Case of Knits and she's at Isis Fibre Arts. Our coupon code again is KCV15 for 15% off. I'm sorry to keep hammering it at you, but we just want you to use it.
People to, and remember not lose out.
And poor Mildred doesn't have a shirt on anymore.
Poor Mildred.
How do we add, can you add a sensor thing to Zoom? Is there like?
We'll cover her up.
Oh, there we go.
With the shawl.
Excellent.
There we go.
Yay.
She's not naked anymore.
Fantastic. But yeah, if anyone has other questions or they want to see any of these guys closer up, let us know. We're happy to pull some down. We still have a couple minutes left. So
and thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
Yeah, it's been great.
We didn't know what to expect. This was our first one doing a live and we just didn't know. It's why we did it together.
Yes, we're like, must do it with friends.
So you guys, just because I know sometimes when you're on an iPad or your phone doing this, you miss the chat, although I guess the comment was put in the chat. So I'm just going to say the name of that pattern again was Promise of Spring by Hand Knit by Cam, because somebody asked, I'm sorry, Christine asked. There we go. Sorry. Just sorry to interrupt.
No, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
This is why we have Kim.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how the people who do this, who like are also watching the chat, themselves
Yeah.
and like being responsible for that. I don't know how anybody
don't-
does that. Like
I don't
I've
know
seen
how
some
you
of the
can.
bigger name people, like we're both very much like babies in this business. And to see
Yeah.
like some of the really like experienced, like well-known dyers do this kind of thing. And I'm like, how do you watch the chat and like
And
and
talk.
present at the same time and then still
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, that question back when and
Yeah.
stuff. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Anything anybody wants to see? I have a hat I didn't show.
Well, you should show your hat. That's your DK17, right?
Actually, it's not.
Oh,
This
Good.
is a sample skein of sport that I was just playing around with. It is my Dahlia colorway, which is very variegated. Lots of different colors in it, but from a distance, you really can't tell. But look, it kind of matches my hair
it
right
does.
here.
Coordinated.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for your kind comments in the chat. We
Yes,
appreciate it.
thank you very much. We will probably upload this to YouTube after the fact sometime. Unfortunately, the discount code will only be usable till Tuesday though. So
Tuesday.
as I knock my water over.
Don't walk your daughter over. Discount code KCV15.
Yes. And oh, and just another thing, if you are in the Okanagan at all, we will both have a booth up at the Kelowna Yarn and Needle. I think Kim, I might already have just put this in the chat, but just to reiterate, we'll both be at the Kelowna Yarn and Needlecraft on, is it August 7th, I think? Saturday, August,
August 7th, yes.
from 10 till 4 or something like that.
And it's a whole yarn crawl for that entire weekend.
Yeah.
So I know that there's, I think, 5 different yarn stores in the Okanagan that are participating.
Yeah.
You buy for $5, you buy like a little passport, and then you go around to all the stores, and with the passport, you get discounts.
Mhm.
And then on the Saturday, the various yarn stores are going to have some dyers do little pop-ups on the Saturday, but for us, we're going to Kelowna Yarn and Needlecraft, and I think there's
8 or 10
8.
vendors. Yeah. We're taking over a parking lot. That's, I
Yeah,
know that
we'll-
much.
We'll be outside. We're hoping it's not 45 degrees.
Yes. Oh my
we'll
gosh.
be-
If it's that hot, I don't know what we're gonna do.
We're gonna die. But we'll be outside, we'll have tents, and we'll have all our yarns, as many as we can carry. And
Yeah.
yeah, so if you're in the
And you can see
neighborhood-
Chris in person. You don't have to just hear him in the background.
and Kim.
And Kim too, because Kim is also going to be there and help
Kim's
us.
my person.
Yeah.
She's gonna come with me. Yeah, so anybody who's around and local or visiting, we'd love to see you.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Well,
All right.
we hope you enjoy the rest of your Knit City weekend. Go check
Yes.
out some of the other cool people. I think you and I might go and pop over to the Fibre Goddess,
Fibre
Jen.
Goddess.
She is lovely and her yarn names are hilarious.
It really is.
I might own a sweater quantity of 2 pierced nipples and a black tattoo from her. And some of them you can't say on social media like this because you would get censored.
That's right.
So if you're looking for crazy colorway names, she's your guy. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone. And
Thanks, everybody.
we'll see you another time, hopefully.
Bye, everybody.